Hey everybody, Nicky Testaforte. I'm a voice actor and author, and I gotta tell you, I'm going to be on the Keith Andrews show, and what I've seen, oh my God, what a great guy. Spread the word. You're gonna learn a lot. Don't even think he's got a disability. He's just a great guy with a great product. See ya.
Gentlemen, I'm your host Keith Andrew, and you're watching 1,188. That's right, 1,188 episodes available on the one and only YouTube. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. We have a great guest. He already introduced himself. We're going to start off with everyone's favorite icebreakers. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself and the type of work that you do.
Okay. My name is Nicky Testaforte. I'm an author, voice actor, audio editor, and audio engineer. Been doing this for a while, and I also have a special needs daughter, so all's good.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next subject I want to talk to you about is the coronavirus. How has the coronavirus impacted your life and your career? And do you see it in a different point of view?
Well, during the Corona lockdown, I self-published a series of 10 early enrichment books for young kids ages 2 to 8, and that's been doing pretty well. The only bad thing about the coronavirus was some things that happened to my daughter after the shots that I don't really want to talk about, but it wasn't that good.
All right. Well, here on the KeithAndrewNetWork, we always stand by. It's always good to be vaccinated because, especially with global warming and climate change, there's so many things going around. Now we have the no. Unfortunately, you can't do anything about the norovirus. You get it, you got to get over it. But it would be something nice that you could take. So even if you get it, it doesn't last that long.
Hmm.
But especially we should be vaccinated against coronavirus. Unfortunately, there's cases of polio going around. There's diseases coming back like from 50, 60 years ago. Not to talk about politics or anything, but it's really alarming knowing that all these diseases are coming back to the surface again. Now we have the bird flu going around. The prices of eggs are going on. We're going to actually talk about inflation in a little bit. But it was the bird flu going around, and it isn't just you have to worry about me, you have to worry about you and your daughter. If the dogs can get it, and it's the scariest thing, period, about viruses, they mutate and they get worse. What is your opinion about that? Because that's really scary, but it mutates and it gets worse instead of better.
Of course. And, there were a lot of checks and balances in place, but with budget cuts, government cuts, and all that, it's kind of opened the door a little for these things to really happen.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. I want to talk to you about your book. Who inspired you to become an author, and how many years have you been an author?
Oh, I first self-published back in 2006, and that was all based upon a very good paid networking job that I had, which is basically driving a limo in and around New York City. And the stories just kept coming and coming to the point where a guy said to me, you got great stories. You should write a book. And that was what started it all. And I haven't stopped since.
No, if you have the heart and passion, just do what you love. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, between the self-publishing little empire I've built with over 35 books, the voice acting I'm doing now, I get bored easy.
Now, I can definitely relate. Well, let me ask you, what's difficult about writing for you?
I would say it's not the writing, it's not the publishing, it's the marketing. You have to spend a ton of time to get the word out. Just because you published a book doesn't mean it's going to sell. Now, my first book, different story, because I really hit the boards for that one. I did radio interviews all around the world for that one. And there's a lot of organic reviews on Amazon because of that. But it doesn't mean it lifts other boats up just because you have one good book. Well, all of my books are good, but one good book with a lot of reviews. So I don't know if people are myopic. It's like, oh, I'll only read that one. No, no, knucklehead, read the rest.
No, I could definitely relate to that, especially with my talk show. For you, I'm making exceptions because I created a song where it does my intro doesn't for me. But
Mm-hmm.
for you, I'm making an exception. For people who want to know about me, whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong.
Oh,
Prove them.
most definitely. My daughter plays violin. She can sight read music. I've turned her on to music from the 50s on up. I can quiz her. Who's the lead singer on that song? Bang, she gets the answer. There's a lot of strengths that the neurodiverse community has. And I wanted to capitalize on that, not for a monetary reason, but to put people to work. I put together this amazing marketing business, every kind of plan you could think of. And what I wanted to do was create a company that would hire minimum 10 people day one to make an ultra gourmet popcorn. I had everything in place. I had distribution like you wouldn't believe before I even had a product. I didn't have the money to get it off the ground.
Well, that's
I went out to investors. I had one guy say, "Oh, I'll eat the popcorn." Yeah, but I need your money. If I don't have your money, I can't make the popcorn. You know how you do a Google search and you stop at maybe like page 2 and go, I went all the way to page 7 and I found Metallica's funding arm. I reached out to them and they're like, oh, we only do homeless outreach and food related, but for, homeless people. I'm like, oh, okay. Because that would have been so cool to have a popcorn van that said powered by Metallica on the back and
right.
some kid walk up, go, oh, the music? No, the band paid for it.
But no, but still, if you're, it's branded. It's about the brand name. If I
Mm-hmm.
saw something with Iron Maiden, Rush, Metallica, Dragon Ball. I'm a huge diehard fan of Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
If I saw, I'm like, they're making popcorn. I don't care if I eat it. I will collect it because the more you save it, yes, you're paying for the name, but if you are a diehard fan and the number, what, I don't know, pulling it out of my ass, 10 years, you can say, hey, remember this? And you can pull it out and have Metallica popcorn. It may not be
Well,
good.
the thing, it wasn't branded by a band. It was our brand that I was putting together, but looking for funding and came across Metallica's site because they do outreach when they go to cities. So they'll be in Detroit. Next thing you know, the Detroit food banks are doing well because they gave them a ton of money. I just thought, wow, I put the effort in to go all the way to page 7. Reached out to their guy and great idea, but sorry, it's not within our wheelhouse.
No, I can relate, going back to the very first thing that you said. I've been doing this for 12 and a half. My brother likes to hit me over the head, not actually, but he
Mm-hmm.
likes to say hit me over the head. You've been doing this for 12 and a half years. If it hasn't worked yet, it's not going to. But it's just I haven't found the right people to connect with.
The
Maybe I
thing,
should go to investors. Maybe I should have people invest in my product or distribution. And because I have a strong message,
mm-hmm.
it's just when you do everything yourself, it's overwhelming. And but the point is like if someone with disabilities can do this and inspire so many other people,
Right.
then it's why can't people be more on board instead of, hey, you don't have a great voice, hey, you don't have a great image, hey this, hey that, and you know what? At the end of the day, if you can't do it yourself, it's not meant to be.
No, no, no. You have to run away from the haters because let's take voice acting. You could have a great voice, but you may not fit the bill of what the agency is looking for. It doesn't mean you're not good. You may audition for something. You may get turned down. It doesn't mean you're not good. You're not right for it. That's all. And what you got to do is just keep hitting it because there could be 100 rejections, but that one thing will take you over the top.
No, absolutely. So the next one I want to ask you, every book that you ever written, how are you as a coach, and are you willing to coach people with and without disabilities who want to write their own books?
Oh, I've talked to a lot of people who say, I'm thinking of writing a book. Okay, my first question is before you even start to think about it, what's your platform? You have a platform. A lot of people don't because you can write the book. But my point before, it won't sell. So if it's going to be a vanity project, you're writing a book about how your parents came over from Italy in the 20s. Okay, maybe you'll sell a few or give away a few to the family. But if you're writing a book that you want to go to the mass market, it helps to have a platform, whether you have a video channel or you're a speaker and you sell them in the back of the hall after you speak. Even if you do things like library tours or even book festivals, because last year I did the Brooklyn Book Festival. You get a lot of people, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're looking for your book. But you got to get out there.
Hey, if you're interested, I would love to partner up with you.
Hey, if you have a book idea, I can help you because I've done it over 35 times. I think I have a little bit of a model.
Well, let me ask you this one. This is one of my favorite questions. What is hard? And yes, I do have questions. Let me ask you, what is hard to cater in and build into the right audience?
Hmm. Harder than catering and building an audience. Hmm. Some people might say, but not for me, coming up with an idea and being able to take that idea to fruition. That's something that even if you have an idea and it stalls, put it on the shelf. Go to the next one. Come back later. You may be able to finish it. I did that a couple of times where it was like, okay, I ran out of gas on that one. All right, put that to the side. Let's start another one.
Well, let
Got to
me
keep
ask you,
plugging.
yeah, absolutely. You have to, I do this 24/7 every day for the past 12 years, 12 and
Hmm.
a half years. This is what I want to do until the day I'm 6 feet under, because that's my heart and my passion.
Well,
I
you could do
have
a
done,
remote from underground too if you wanted to.
yeah, probably if there's good
Yeah,
light.
hosted by the worms. Here are the worms. Hey, worms, how you doing today?
That would be a good idea, though.
Mm,
But the biggest thing is you have to have the heart and passion. I have done things, and you probably have done that in your life. You've done things
mm.
half-assed, so like saying, "Well, I did it because I didn't know where I would go, and I needed something to pass the time." But you never do anything half-assed.
No, to quote the um, the great actor who played Mike Ehrmantraut on Breaking Bad, no half measures, Walter. Nothing half done. You either do it all or don't do it. And it's the people who keep plugging away are the ones that get there.
You're absolutely right. Well, let me ask you, if we now we're on the subject of Breaking Bad, and the next one I want to ask you is, Have you ever written a TV script or a story? Obviously, you wrote stories that you wanted to turn into a TV show. But before you answer, going back to Breaking Bad, do you agree or disagree that season four should have been the last season? Because it had a great ending.
Nah, I liked it the way it ended. In regards to, did I have any projects that were TV scripts? Absolutely. I even had a writing partner who was working on NCIS and Grey's Anatomy. We couldn't get something off the ground. I had a connection with the head of television for William Morris Endeavor. Still didn't help. One of my clients, I won't name him, but he's a known actor. His son is an actor too. And his son said to me, my father and this very prominent director couldn't get anything sold. So it doesn't matter who you are, if you're connected, it's just luck of the draw, timing, or if they're looking for something that you've done. Now, in regards to scripts not related to books, let's say we go back to vampires again. Don't start writing for vampires because by the time you finish, they're onto something else.
Right.
But if you want to write a vampire book, knock your socks off. It's not going to be anything, oh, nobody's into vampires. Related to books, people love everything. My wife loves these fantasy books that are thicker than the old Manhattan Yellow Pages that were this thick. And there's a great joke about them. You don't have to kill anybody in the book. Just grab the book and throw it at them. You'll hit them and kill them.
What was the joke I came up with a couple of while ago? My sister has these big thick books, and I don't really read them anymore, but it comes in handy when you kill those big ass spiders.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. There's use for them. It holds the door open.
So the next one I want to ask you, with everything that you accomplished in your life, did you reach your goals, or are you always reaching for that brass ring?
I always look like, yeah, I've accomplished something today, or maybe I didn't accomplish enough today, but I keep going. Is there a brass ring? I don't see it yet. I'm just going to keep going.
Sometimes I feel like, there's so many metaphors. Climb the ladder, get the brass
Mm-hmm.
ring. I sometimes feel like I broke through the glass ceiling because
Absolutely.
when you think about people with disabilities and having a talk show or being a wrestler, there are some wrestlers who do have disabilities and actors too, and they shattered,
Mm-hmm.
the expectation. But for me, who being a nobody, as soon as you break one glass ceiling, there's another. And there's always going to be an obstacle in your way, especially with your writing. You wrote a fantastic book, but how can you break through for the upper glass ceiling? So the question I want to ask you is, with everything that you accomplish, how do you know, or is it like a feeling that you feel in your heart? How do you know when you gave and delivered a high quality performance?
I try and do everything as a high quality performance. I wouldn't want anything to go out with my name on it that is less than what I feel represents my brand. Now, in regards to your point before about the glass ceiling,
You're right.
let's talk about a brick wall. You hit a brick wall, bounce off it. See if there's a way around it. Grab a ladder, climb over it. It's not the be all end all. Unless you have something happen to you that you can't do your job because. If I lost my voice, well, I'm not going to be in the booth that day. Nothing I could do about that but rest it. But don't let perceptions or beliefs that other people have hold you back.
No, I agree. I say this a lot, and it's true. I am my own worst enemy. You are your own worst enemy. So regardless of what people like to say, like my brother, for an example, I've been doing this for 12 and a half years. If it's not going to work, it's not going to. Adding that on top of you are your own worst enemy, all you're doing is just adding unnecessary weight to yourself. Sometimes you just have to say, screw it, I'm gonna do it. And eventually you're gonna break on, not say like from the doors, you're gonna break on through to the other side. May not happen overnight, but eventually you will accomplish something and prove people wrong.
There was a post on X in which the group I'm in, all about voice acting, somebody said, "Hey, did anybody start late? I started in my mid 20s or I started in my 30s." I wrote a post that said, "In my 20s, I started in radio. In my 30s, I was in web development and multimedia production. In my 40s, I started writing, and I'm just, I keep going. So don't worry about starting late. Age is a number. And as far as your channel, it's a matter of getting it out there. There are probably people who I might be able to put you in touch with who can get your word out a little more. Eh, That's what it's about. It's networking because you never know. I'll give you another example. I drove a client, picked him up, nice guy. I see his what looks like a long and thin, maybe like a fishing pole carrier or something like that, but it has a business card inside. I'm like, okay. I always ask people, what do you do for a living? Because to me, it's a paid networking job.
Right.
Other people may just think, oh, it's just a driving job. Not me. Yeah, I'm getting paid for it, but I'm hitting everybody up. Ended up, this guy was the president of Archie Comics.
Oh, nice.
We had a great conversation all the way to the airport. Potential of doing work with Archie down the road? Maybe. Would I have met him otherwise? Probably not. It's how you get out there.
Now, here's a funny story for you. My dad went for surgery a couple years ago, and his roommate that he was sharing a room with asked him, "Hey, how would you feel about giving me $1,000 and you can buy shares in Sharpie?" Now, this is about in the 1970s. This is before Sharp. I think
Mm-hmm.
it was Sharp or Sharpie. I think it was Sharp. And then no one knew what it was. And I'm like, oh, this sounds good. And people are like, oh, I'm not giving you $1,000. It's a Ponzi scheme. Looking back at it, we should have invested because Sharp, you know, makes electronics, cyber TVs, VCRs,
Mm-hmm.
and so many things. So when you see an opportunity, why not just take it? Because you never know how it's going to work out.
Unless you don't have the wherewithal, and that $1,000 is your grocery money for the next
Right.
couple of months. It's all relative.
It is. Now, we're wrapping up the show. I want to ask you, song of the day. What are some of your favorite songs and what are some of your favorite music bands?
Oh my God. You don't have enough time for me to list it out. Give you an example. On my phone, I have over 3,000 songs. Not only are there songs, but because I'm a radio guy, I have radio jingles, drop ins, all different things. It's like a little radio station. Favorite songs. I'm a child of the 60s. You're kidding me. The 60s and the 70s were the best time. I don't care if you grew up in the 80s, and to you, the 80s is great. But there's stuff late 50s up to the 80s. That's amazing.
No, but it was real music. The problem was today, do you probably agree? The problem with today's music, it's too artificial and it
Hmm.
sucks.
Well, yeah, you get a guy, let's say, I don't have a slight against rap, but let's say the guy is a good rhymer or he uses AI to come with his rhymes.
Right.
He's out there stealing from the guys who are in the studio playing the instruments to make the song. Does he credit them? I don't know. But you hope that maybe somebody goes, wow, what's that song? And goes back and listens to the original. I was playing a song from the 70s, a Philly band. And my wife goes, oh my God, wait, play that again. Why? What about it? She goes, Prince did a remake of it that sounded exactly like it. The hair was on standing up on my arms when I heard it because he did it note for note.
But that's the biggest thing. People always do a song cover over a song cover. It's like, why
Hmm.
can't it be original? Like the song I heard recently, it was by Ghosts. I think they're a new band. They did a Mariana Cross, and I didn't know that Mariana Cross was actually an old song. I thought it was brand new, but it was actually a redone.
Okay. How about Grand Funk Railroad doing the locomotion?
I heard about it.
Little Eva, who was Carole King's nanny, was the voice of that song. Carole King and Jerry Goffin wrote that song. It's two different songs. Yeah, Little Eva's version is great. Grand Funk did it their way.
That's true. But I do have a couple questions for you off the air, but I want you to be brutally honest. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what made you say yes, and how do you feel now?
Because of my involvement in the neurodiverse community, I wanted to help you as much as I could. Would it be beneficial to my career? Hey, maybe. Somebody sees this and goes, oh, let me check out his books. Who knows? It's all throwing mud against the wall. How do I feel now? I want to help you make this get out there more than it can. Put you in touch with a couple of people. Who knows? I don't know if any of it will turn into anything,
There's
but
no guarantees in life.
no, no. But I know what it's like. There's a great analogy that was written into the West Wing script. And it was about when Josh Lyman had a drinking problem. And Leo McGarry used to have a drinking problem. Leo tells this story about a guy's walking through a forest and hears somebody, hey, help me. There's a hole, and there's a guy in the hole. And the first guy goes, oh, you're stuck in a hole, huh? Well, good luck getting out. And he keeps walking. Next guy walks by, hey, help me. Looks in the hole. Oh, here's $5. What the hell's that going to do? Next guy comes by, help me. Guy jumps in the hole. He goes, why the hell did you jump in the hole? Because I know how to get out of the hole. Now let's go.
No, that's I never heard that before. That's really
Hmm.
motivated.
Because that's the kind of people that are out there. Hey, I'm trying to get my YouTube show off the ground. Oh, good luck. Hey, I'm trying to get my YouTube show off the ground. Get it out to more people. All right. Well, you have a Patreon channel? I'll give you some money on Patreon.
Well, that's how I feel when I tell people when I interview you. When I same thing for you. I'm helping you. You're helping me, and the more views that I get, and more it helps both of us. Like, oh, hey,
Hmm.
this one got 500 views. He's doing something great. When the interviews don't get any views, it's
Hmm.
kind of like, what was the purpose? Because then I feel like a schmuck.
Nope.
What was the
Nope.
purpose of interviewing them? Because no one cares. They're not even acknowledging it.
No. Don't look at it that way. It's nothing you did. You did your job. It's tough. Anything entertainment related is very tough.
No, you're absolutely right. But I don't want to take up much of your time. I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But
Hmm.
wrapping up, this interview will be shared on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all social medias. Our goal is to reach over 500 or more views. Use the hashtag KeithAndrewNetwork, hashtag TalkShow host with a disability. Your links will be in the description. Everyone, if you're watching, definitely check out his books. They're fantastic. And let me ask you, have you ever thought about doing audiobooks?
Oh, that's another interesting one. I wanted to do audiobooks of my own books. Problem was because I work nights when I was driving full time, because I'm doing the VO during the week. I would come home 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and my voice would be here, 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 and here. And you have to be consistent all the way through. So it didn't work out because one day I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" Next day, "Hi, good morning. How are you?" So yeah, that didn't work. To be able to do audiobook work now that I'm doing this professionally, it's a lot of work. Because if it's a 3 hour book, you're looking at almost another 3 hours just to edit and master it according to what Audible wants. So audiobooks, I'll listen to podcasts. I don't have the bandwidth to sit and listen to an audiobook.
Well, never say never, but we can definitely save that for part two. But
Mm-hmm.
wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest. I want to say
Same
thank you
here.
very much for supporting me, and I'm looking forward to working with you. And
Same
so
here.
until we meet again, I catch you later. Thank
Be
you.
well. Take care.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.
Supporting me, and my message is all that